Hello and welcome to Around the Block, the Isolation Special. I'm Michael Turner, your host. We are the supporters podcast of the Western Sydney Wanderers in the Australian A-League. If you're tuning in across the country or, of course, around the world, we have a bit of a special show for you guys as part of our Isolation series. I'm joined, as usual, by my good friend, Nick Koloski. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Good evening, good morning, wherever you may be. Thank you for hosting once again, as you do.
That's all right. Thank you for coming on, Nick, as always. Tonight's show is actually sponsored by our friends at A-League Memes. They're a friend of football in Australia here, and they're actually also very big supporters of one FK Slutsk in the Belarusian Premier League. We're actually quite honoured today to be joined by one of the few footballers who are actually currently playing at the moment. He is featured across the continent, played for Slavia Prague, 1905 Bohemians, as well as clubs in Russia and the Czech Republic, featured 16 times for the Belarusian national team. Please welcome the number 4 for FK Slutsk, Vitali Trubila. Welcome.
Hi guys. Hi Australia. Nice to hear you.
You too. Thank you very much for coming on. I know you've just come from training. How are the team going at the moment and how was training for you today?
Training was really easy. We prepare for the game against Dynamo Minsk on Saturday. So we had a very easy training session and I think we will be ready to beat them, I hope.
Yeah, that's good. Look, a lot of the world are hoping for you as well. They're really behind you. Before we talk a bit about your career, Vitali, COVID-19 is obviously something that's affected the world over. But in Belarus, you guys have dealt with this situation just a little bit differently. Are you guys worried at all about the games that are still going on? Are you worried about the situation at all yourself?
I don't know. Not really. It's hard to answer this question. We know the situation that this virus is dangerous. But we like to play. We want to play because it's our job and it makes us pleasure. So I'm really happy that we play. And thanks to that, now we talk to each other because now only Belarusian teams are playing in the whole Europe. Everybody's watching us. So we are like in a spotlight. So I'm really happy. I'm 35, old guy. So my career is going to the end. And now I'm really happy that I'm playing. So
that's good.
I feel safe enough.
That's good.
So Vitali, tell us, are you guys taking any precautions when it comes to the COVID? Like as you're still playing, is there anything different that you do before you go to training or before you play a game or anything like that?
Yes, for sure. Some of us are wearing masks. Some of us, not some of us, everybody is using antiseptics. We're using soap. We're not shaking hands. We train. After training, we sit in our rooms, talk to each other. We don't let another people come to our space. When I come home to my family, we sit at home like normal people, like people in Europe also. So sometimes we can go by our own car for a walk to some forest, some lake, and so on. So we take care about ourselves. We know that it's dangerous. So like this.
Very, very good. But on the flip side, it is garnering attention, not just for FK Slutsk, but also for the Belarusian league. TV rights have been purchased in Russia, Israel, and we're watching all over the world. I know we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago when we did our last podcast. We picked our which team would we actually follow, and your team just happened to come up randomly. But do you think it's worth continuing to play to get the exposure and get the league out there to the rest of the world?
You mean we should play? We should continue playing? What do you mean?
Yeah. So sorry. So like, even though you're almost the only professional league playing, more people are watching. Even though we have the pandemic happening at the moment, do you think it's worth playing whilst taking precautions so people can watch the Belarusian league?
It's a very difficult question. It's good that I shouldn't decide what to do because it's really difficult for our government, for our football federation to make this decision. But they decided like this. I'm a professional football player, I have a contract, so I don't have to choose. If they want me to play, for sure I will play. It's good. I like it that everybody in Russia, everywhere in Australia is watching us. You should understand that now for me it's advantage. But I also hope that I will not get this virus. My family will be safe, and I hope all the people in Belarus will be like smart and will be safe, sitting home, and we will play. Let them watch us on the TV.
I want to talk a little bit more about you and your career, right? You mentioned before that you're 35, coming up to the end of your career, I guess, or closer to the end of your career. But you've obviously had quite a long footballing career, playing across the continent and playing for your national team. And of course, the people of the world who are supporting you, they want to know who their heroes are and their background. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your footballing history, and I wanted to sort of start right at the beginning, if you don't mind. Growing up, professional football, growing up in Belarus, was that always something that you wanted to do? Was that always the goal?
Yes, yes. My father was a great fan of football. He's from the village, so he wanted to be a football player, but he didn't have football club, football sessions in his village. So when I was born, he decided I will be a football player. So from 4 years old, he started giving me the ball. He was playing football with me together. So when I was 7, I started playing football in football section. And from 17 years old, I signed a professional contract with Dynamo Minsk in Belarus. It was a top club in Belarus. So I started like this, and after my career was getting going up. So I came when I was 20. I came to Czech Republic, and I spent there 7 years, and I played for Slavia Prague, very famous team in Czech Republic. Now they're champions. Before I came, they were also champions. Now they participate in Champions League, played against Barcelona and Borussia. So I watched them, I looked them, and I'm very happy that I played in this famous team in Czech Republic. After I came here to Belarus, I came back again to Dynamo Minsk, and my career went a little bit down. I had a lot of injuries, and I was getting older, slower, and so on. But after I had an opportunity to play in Russia in second league in Saratov, very, very interesting experience when you fly all over to different cities. So I liked my career. It was good, and the top of my career for sure is national team, where I played 16 matches. I played against France, against Ribéry, against Benzema, top players. So unbelievable.
Yeah.
Very good. You say you start your professional career, you played for a number of other clubs, as you just mentioned, Minsk, Dynamo Minsk, the academy side. But before you went to the Czech Republic to play for Baník Most, you spent 2 seasons in the top division, playing 33 matches. How did you find the quality of the Czech First Division compared to the Belarusian Premier League? What's the difference like in quality?
The players are almost on the same level, I think. But Czech football is more tactical football, where in Czech Republic players know where to run, how to play. When you get the ball, you know where your teammate will run. So it's more tactical, it's more compact football, and there is not too much technique in Czech Republic, but a lot of fighting and so on. So that's why Czech league, I think the level is higher, because now football becomes more tactical, in my opinion.
You mentioned you moved to Slavia Prague, and you mentioned such a big club, biggest in the Czech Republic and regularly featuring in Europe. And when you moved there, they actually gave you the opportunity to play in Europe. And from what I understand, you made your first Europa League, or what was the Europa League, appearance against Genoa, who are in the Italian Serie A. There are some big names in that team. Current Arsenal defender Socrates lined up in that game, of course, Hernan Crespo. And you guys drew 0-0 at home. Talk us through that game and facing some of these guys you probably would have watched on TV and idolized even.
Yeah, for sure. It was a big situation for me. European League, good teams, good players, very famous. I wasn't nervous, to tell the truth, because I'm not how to tell. I look at them at these famous players like I look at the other players, because they also have 2 hands, 2 legs, and it's only good experience to play against them, to beat them, and so on. But I really enjoyed these matches. I also played against Lille in this period where Azar was playing also. We played only 2 minutes, I think, against each other, but I can tell this, that I played against Azar. So I was enjoying every match. So I was really happy. And we took only 3 points, as Slavia wasn't such a big club. We played also against Valencia. It was Valencia, Genoa, and Lille in our group. So
not an easy group, that's for sure.
not easy, really.
In 2010 and 2011 season, you went on loan to Bohemians 1905, and there was a bit of an Australian connection at Bohemians. The crest, has a kangaroo following a 1927 tour of Australia. Did you find that logo a little bit confusing, or did they tell you about the history with the kangaroo?
I didn't know the history, to tell the truth. I know that it's kangaroo. It's connected with Australia. But to tell the truth, I spent there only half a year, so there was no time to know the history. But I know that the fans of Bohemians are incredible, unbelievable. They support this club too much. It's a very old club with great history. So I also played there. It's good. I enjoyed also the same situation. Very famous club in Czech Republic.
You did go back to Slavia Prague after that, and you did play European competition again. I believe some Europa League qualifiers. Played Lokomotiv Zagreb and Trabzonspor. You guys came close, but you didn't qualify for the group stages. And for most football fans, we all know that those qualifiers are at the very start of the season. So it must have been quite tough to suffer that setback at the start of the season, I assume.
That matches were really, really difficult. The opponent was good. Dinamo Zagreb we passed, but Trabzonspor is a good team with big names in this team. So I was disappointed for sure that we didn't go through. But to tell the truth, at the start of the season, the opponent is very strong. So I wasn't happy, but I hope that next season we will do this. But next season I left the club. I got injuries at the end of the season, so they didn't prolong my contract. Sometimes it happens.
So that's football, as they say sometimes. For the majority of the listeners who are nowhere near professional footballers, can you describe the differences for you playing in big European competition compared to playing in the normal day-to-day league in the normal league games?
A lot depends on spectators. When there are a lot of people sitting on the stadium, the game goes different. You are inspired too much. You feel like you're flying you have wings. You're flying. You get the ball. Everybody is making applause. So you think that you run faster. You want to do some feint. You want to make spectators happier. So you give to football much more when there are a lot of spectators. That's how I feel it. Now, sometimes it's difficult in Belarus when, for example, 1,000 people or 2,000 is not too much, not too much noise, not too much. It's not a big crowd, so it feels different. It feels really different. That's why when I look at English Premier League or Spanish League, I'm I don't know, jealous. It's the right word. I'm jealous because it's such a good atmosphere. These football players on the field are really happy people. So I hope one day Belarus will become a more rich country and people will come to big stadiums and support our football. And I think I'm absolutely sure that our football will go up. When people will start visiting football, they will support football players right on the field, and football players will be trying and will become, will do better like this.
Yeah. You mentioned big stadiums, and looking at your career, when you're at Slavia Prague, you mentioned earlier as well, you made your international debut in June 2011 in the European qualifiers against France. And that game was at home. It was a good crowd. You mentioned, big names in that game: Lloris, Abidal, Sacco, Ribéry, Nazri, Malouda, Benzema. And you guys had previously beaten them in the earlier match. Your manager at the time, actually, another Australian connection, Bernd Stange, he was actually previously a manager of Australian side Perth Glory, actually in 98 to 2001. So, but about him, at halftime, it was 1-1. What did he say to you guys at halftime to motivate you guys to get a point to one of the biggest teams in Europe?
To tell the truth, I don't remember the halftime, but at the start of the game, he said to us that we should be more confident. We should start the game first 5 minutes. We should attack them, run. So they will see that we're not gonna go down. We want to fight today, and they will not take points here. So we started 5 minutes. I remember we ran a lot, and after we scored the goal, we were happy, really happy. And he was a very good psychologist. I don't know how to tell it in English. He knew how to get maximum from each player. That's what I remember about Bernd Stange. I like this coach too much, and I don't know. He will not listen to us, but I want to say hi to him. He invited me to the national team. He let me play against France and the other good teams. So I like this coach too much. When he was the coach of the national team, I was running and did maximum what I can on the field.
If there's a way for us to get this message to him, we'll try and find a way. We'll make some calls to Perth Glory, see if they've still got his phone number to pass that message through. I'm sure I'd be really happy to hear it.
Yeah, I hope.
You went on to play a number of games in the Euro qualifiers in 2011, I should say, and there was a 2-0 win against Luxembourg, and then you played against Bosnia-Herzegovina, and you were a main part of the squad for 2012 and 2013. I want to ask you about the famous result in 2013, where you defeated a very strong Japanese side, featuring the likes of Yoshida, Kagawa, Honda, Okazaki. You came on at halftime and you were 1-0 ahead at home. Was it the home ground advantage that helped you guys win at the end?
We played a very good match. First of all, our players played well. We scored a goal first half, and the guy who is scoring goals not very often decided to shot on goal and scored. So 1-0 good advantage. And after the game was it was like a draw game. So we didn't have advantage, and Japanese team, they were trying, but we defended well. We made a counterattacks. So very interesting game. And I don't know, Japanese team wasn't that good. That match, they were not so good. Even Keisuke Honda and the other players, I don't remember really all the names, but they were playing not on the top of their abilities.
Do you know what's funny about that is I'm pretty sure it was about a month before Japan comprehensively beat Australia in the World Cup qualifiers. So,
you played also a few times alongside Alexander Hleb, a former Arsenal and Barcelona player. Being a fellow Belarusian player, do you think you would say he's someone maybe you looked up to in the national team?
Once more the question, please.
So, Alexander Hleb, former Arsenal and Barcelona player. We know he's a great of the Belarusian national team, but playing alongside him, do you think you looked up to him, or you looked to him to give you help in the national squad when you made it into the team?
Yes, for sure. He's everybody knows that he is our famous, the best player from Belarus. He played for Barcelona, close to Messi, Xavi, Iniesta. So we don't need words to tell how big he is. So he supported me a lot also in the team. I like the way he played. When you don't know whom to give the ball, give to Hleb, and he will keep it. He will give a pass and goal because usually he's not scoring. He's giving passes. So he supported young players. He was for us like an idol. But also at the same time, he's a normal guy. So you can easily come to him, talk to him. He will tell you about Messi and Javi and so on, about Barcelona, a lot of things about Guardiola and so on. So I'm really I'm satisfied, and I'm proud that I played close to him, to Hleb. It's a big player, even in Europe, even in the world, the whole world.
You played, as you say, alongside some real top players, and you've played against some really top players. Out of all the, the teams in any competition you've played, who do you think is one of the, or some of the toughest players you've played against?
I remember that when we played against France, I played against Bakary Sagna. He played in Arsenal that time, and every time my teammates were giving me long balls, so I had to jump and fight with Sagna. I don't know. I think I couldn't win even one ball because his jumps were he jumped so high. He was so strong on this position. So that's what I remember. Fights and long balls with Sagna, I couldn't win. It was hard for me. I was very unsatisfied with it.
Luckily, you came away with the result, the 1 point at home. So that's made up for it, I guess.
The most important.
Let's look at your current club, of course, the one that everyone's getting behind, FK Slutsk. You joined in March 18. You've played 45 games so far for the club. Last season, you guys finished 11th, but this season, you sit in top after 6 rounds. What's turned your fortunes this year? Is it the international exposure, or has something changed with the squad at the moment?
I don't know what is the main reason. I think the main reason is that our team had a good atmosphere. We had a good players now this season. We have a lot of luck, and for sure support from abroad, support from Australia, support in the internet. I think everybody is very, very inspired, and I see how the players are trying, how they believe that we can do it, we can win, we can beat them, even when we get the goal. Last years we were not able to score. We get the ball, so it's almost 95% we will lose. But this year we get the goal, we fight, we score another one, and we beat. So I think now all the atmosphere around the team, even these problems with money and so on, that makes us stronger. We have nothing to lose. We go on the field, we do maximum, and we win. So we're first. It's unbelievable, to tell the truth. Slutsk never in its history was first after six matches, maybe second, yes, but first, no, not really, because Bate, this strong team, Dynamo Minsk, Shakhtar, we are up now. So up the Slutsk. I hope it will last long and we will stay on top. It will be hard to be first, for sure. We understand it, but from match to match, we will do maximum to keep on top.
Now, speaking of staying on top, if you want to remain top, you have to play against your first team and former team, Dynamo Minsk, this Saturday on May 2nd. Are they a club close to your heart, being that they're a team you first played for? And is it going to be a tough fixture for you to play in?
For sure, it will be a tough game, because first of all, Dynamo Minsk is a strong team. Now they changed the coach. A new coach came. He's a very famous coach. He trained Lokomotiv Moscow. He trained Sheriff that played European Cups. So I know him. I know him a little bit, not personally. Also, I know he's a good tactical coach. So he will give a lot to Dynamo Minsk. And as you know, it's my first team, so I'm really happy to be on the field. I hope the coach will let me play against Dynamo Minsk, and I will try to beat them. because for me this match means also a lot. It's not my top match, but I want to beat them. Really, I want to beat them.
You guys are getting a bit closer and closer to the title as the weeks go on. 3-2 on the weekend. It was a really great result to win. To I guess take the win in the 90th minute was excellent. And you talk about that heart and that passion. And I know the clubs that myself and Nick support in Australia, and I know Australian fans and American fans and English fans, the one thing they love is a team that's passionate and gives it their all. Do you think, that passion will take you on and potentially win the title?
I hope. I wanna say yes. I hope, but I also know that it will be really, really difficult. I know the league. I know that Bate, Shakhtar, and Dynamo Minsk should play much stronger. They have money. They have top players in Belarus, Belarusian top foreign players. So I think it will be hard. It will be hard, but I can tell you that every match we will give our passion, give everything to make people in Belarus, in Australia, in Britain happy. I know that a lot of people are also betting money, betting money for our team, yes, and we feel that we shouldn't lose. We should let them win this money. Because after in the group Slutsk will write,
yes.
They will write a message that, hey guys,
I won again.
Yes.
Now, Vitali, tell us a little bit. We have some jokers in the team that we follow in the A League, and plus many across the leagues as well. And the joker in our team arguably is Daniel Georgievski, who actually played in Romania for a few seasons. But tell me for yourself, is there anyone in your team that's a bit of a joker that likes to play pranks or have a laugh? Or can you give us some examples of some funny things that they've done?
I can't tell that I know one player who does it. We have a squad of big old players. We also spend a lot of time together, so everyone is making jokes. For example, Igor Bobko, our captain, who was injured last season, he's a funny guy. Me, I'm also trying to make a good atmosphere in the team. Boris Pankratov, also a funny guy. He's nice. He's a nice guy, good goalkeeper, supporting us a lot this season. So one joker I can't mention, really. The whole team is making the whole atmosphere, fun atmosphere in the team. So
a happy squad is a winning squad, as they say. And also, is there anyone else that you follow in world football, maybe outside in Europe or in South America, somewhere else? Is there a club that you support or a league that you watch more than any others?
I was supporting Arsenal before, especially when Alexander Gleb was playing there. I liked the way they played. I liked the coach Wenger, his tactics. He was taking young players and making stars from the young players. So that was my favorite team. Now, to tell the truth, I enjoy Ajax Amsterdam, young team, the way they playing. And for sure, Barcelona. When Messi's playing, it's unbelievable to watch what he's doing with the ball. This last years, I enjoy Liverpool. Amazing team, really amazing. Especially especially in attack, crazy attack. And I want to tell you that a lot of players from Slutsk are supporting this team, Liverpool. Because of the coach, because of the team, because of the players in front, Van Dijk, and the other players, Salah, Firmino, and Mane. So every game, if we have a choice, what game to watch, now we watch Liverpool or Barcelona. In my example. But to be a fan of some club, for me, I don't know. I'm not a fan of one club. I'm a fan of a good football.
That makes sense. And it's nice to know
answer.
that you also support Liverpool in a way. So that'll play well for Turner, who's an Everton fan. So nice one to the whole
Okay.
team.
I'm an Everton fan. Nick's a Liverpool fan. So yeah.
I'm for Nick.
Now, for the Australian listeners, have you adopted an Australian team yet?
Not really, not really. Didn't have a chance to watch the games from Australia. Maybe one day I'll watch, because now we are too close to each other. Belarus and Australia, we started to be close to each other. But I have also guys from Australia, my friends, Australian goalkeeper who played with me in Most, Lujachevsky. Also, I played with Karol Kissel. That played in Sydney, yes, and the coach Franciszek Straka. He was my coach in Slavia Prague.
Oh, was he?
He also was the coach.
He coached. He was at North Queensland Fury for a little bit.
Yeah. That's why I know a little bit about Australia.
See, you've got a bit of an Aussie connection now, so you're gonna have to. I'm sure you're gonna make some time to visit Australia at some point.
A lot of money we need to visit Australia. You know, our salaries are not so big to come there. So for us, it's harder than for Australian people, I think. But maybe one day, we will become rich, and we will be close to each other, closer, especially when people from Australia will come, because they promised us to come to Slutsk. So we wait for them. If they will come, I hope we will make also a trip to Australia to show Australian people, Australian football, and Australian kangaroo. Because now we have a chance to see a kangaroo only in our zoos.
Well, if you come here, you'll be seeing kangaroos, koalas, and I think we'll have a good case to make you a Wanderers fan yet. So there's still hope for that.
When I was going to say, I'm going to add Belarus and Slutsk to my Europe travel plans when we're allowed to go back overseas. So I'll definitely be there. And when you have a chance to come down, that you've got a ticket to a game with us. So we'll be able to take you to a game down here.
Thanks a lot for the invitation.
That's a promise from us. I want to ask, you mentioned that you've turned 35 earlier this year. You are coming to the end of a very good footballing career. What is next for you after your career? Do you want to stay in football, perhaps coaching or whatever it might be? Or do you want to do something else outside of football?
I have some options. For sure, maybe I'll be a coach, but I'm not really sure, because to be a coach, to be a coach of a professional team, you need a long time to get all these licenses. Now this is very, very difficult for me. It can take 10 years to get this pro category. So I think also about the other options. Maybe I have a brother living in Moscow, in Russia. So he's calling me to help him. He has a he's a musician, and he has its own cover band, so he needs my help also. So maybe I'll go there. That's also an option. But to tell the truth, I want to play some more years, so I will have time to think about it, what to do after my career. For sure, if I can earn good money, I want to stay in football. But if I will not have this chance, if I'll have to earn small money, if I will not see perspectiva, I don't know how to good future in coach career. If I will not see it, I will try to do something else. Maybe I'll go to Moscow. Maybe I'll continue coaching there in Moscow. Maybe I'll stay in Minsk. I don't know. Now, 100%, I'm not sure.
Sounds like you're right now 100% committed to the team and to the football that you're playing and the football you'll be playing over the next couple of years. Before we wrap things up tonight, I wanted to say that you guys have obviously built, and we've mentioned it a few times, a ton of passionate fans in Australia, of course, the United States, Russia, Asia, the UK. Everyone's right behind yourself and the team. What message do you have for the fans who've jumped on board and have started supporting the team?
First of all, it's a big thank you for support, because it's really, for me, it was really unbelievable when I heard that we have some fans in Australia. They know something about Slutsk. British people know something about Slutsk. I was really surprised. After I joined this group, I saw all the memes, all the posts that people are writing. I was really inspired. And so the only chance for us is now to play for you, to play for these fans all over the world, make them happy, make them support us after all this situation with football, with coronavirus and so on. And I really think that it can help our club, Slutsk, to become really bigger, to get some new sponsors, new investors. Maybe our sugar factory will also realize that we can play on top of the league. We can play Euro Cups. I mean, our small team from small town. So these people, these supporters from abroad, they help us a lot. That's I feel. So this passion and this attention, I hope will make the club bigger. And the players now have opportunity, thanks to this hype, to go abroad, to get also to get good contracts in Belarus or in teams abroad, maybe Australia.
Yeah, that's right.
You never know.
Exactly. Well, we were asked. We reached out to a few people that we know in the football circles here, and we said, "What questions would you have of Vitali?" And the first thing they said is, "Will he come and play in Australia?" So I think there's a lot of people here who want to see some of you guys come down and feature for some Australian teams. So Vitali, I wanted to say thank you so much for giving us this time to profile you and talk about your footballing career. We do all hope for another win this weekend against Dinamo Minsk. All the best with the rest of the season. Hopefully you'll come away with a Premier League title this year. And of course, the world is well and truly behind you. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks a lot, guys. It was a really pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.
No worries. And thank you everyone, of course, for tuning in. This has been Around the Block, the Isolation Series. We are the supporters podcast of Australia's Western Sydney Wanderers. I've been Michael Turner, your host, and thank you for joining me, Nick Nova, Nick Koloski.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much, Vitali, for the fantastic chat. And let's hope Liverpool win a Premier League this season finally, and then let's hope also that Slutsk win a Premier League at the end of their respective season too. So thank you.
Thank you.
And from all of us, of course, to everyone listening, stay safe, and of course, Forza FK Slutsk.